Thank you very much, Dr. Franco Teves, for that very kind introduction. So, good morning, everyone. Maayong aga sa tanan, maayong buntag, magandang araw. And to my fellow microbiologists and microbiology enthusiasts out there, magandang umaga po. I am very humbled to be one of the speakers for today's webinar, together with the former DOST Secretary Padolina, on the context of telling you the context of microbiology in the context of PAGTANAW 2050. When Dr. Windel Rivera and Dr. Asuncion Raimundo emailed me to be one of the speakers, I was tasked to tell you how we conceptualize and package and implemented the microbiology research program of the University of San Agustin. And so today, I'm going to share to you the title of my talk, which is Transformation from a Primarily Undergraduate Institution into a Philippine Countryside's Emerging Research University, the Story of USA. So allow me to briefly introduce University of San Agustin in Iloilo City. USA, as it is fondly called, is known for its flagship program in health and also law because of its high board exam performance of its graduates. Hence, it has an excellent track record as a primarily teaching university. USA, however, was not a go-to university by researchers for expert consultation, collaboration, even in the local community in Region 6. It is with a sad note to say that the only active collaboration agreement of USA in 2015, before the ORGR, or the Office of Research and Global Relations, was created, was its neighboring institution, the Southeast Asian Fisheries Center in Tigbawan, Iloilo. However, the administration believes, through the university president, Reverend Frederick C. Comendador, he believes that international collaboration strengthens innovation capacity of our country through bilateral and multilateral engagements, strengthen the research and capacity building activities. So during the time, Father Comendador was really praying hard for an intervention from above on how to transform University of San Agustin from a primarily undergraduate institution into research institution. So his prayers was answered when my team, my collaborator, Dr. Saludes, and myself decided to come home from continental USA to University of San Agustin as a balik scientist experts. So both of us have an intensive research and academic experience in the United States for more than a decade. And we decided to give up our research and faculty career in the US and decided to come home in 2015. However, that decision was really to give back and serve the country in whatever way we can do. So our coming home at the University of San Agustin was not laid in a red carpet. The bad thing is that when we arrived, there was no research infrastructure, nothing at all. There was no established research program. There was no research funding in the interim and extramural. Interim meaning within the University of San Agustin, and extramural meaning funding from other agencies, government agencies or international agencies. There was no human resource. There was no collaborations between academic and industry partners, no publications, patents, and utility models. However, it's okay to start with nothing, even though we were bombarded in 2015 when we came home that there was nothing. It was the time, the first 2 months was very critical because I thought it was the bad decision of leaving the United States to come home and have nothing at all. But the good news is that even though there is nothing to start, as long as you have the guts to take the challenge, as long as there is a visionary and forward-looking leader, as long as there are a team of experts with mindset of growth, as long as there is a nurturing and supportive university administrators and community, possibilities may happen. So this is the good news that we can get from the bad news of having nothing when we came. And so this is our story. And the first is the research infrastructure. So the phase one, upon our return, this was the laboratory given to us by the university. This is where we will do our research. That's why I told my collaborator, Dr. Saludes, I think this is not the best place to do research because there is nothing at all. The only instrument we have during that time is an analytical balance in order to do research. Even though we have an analytical balance, what are we going to weigh in the first place? There's nothing at all. So this is October 2015. However, we were able, as what I was saying, the good news is that we have a supported university administrators and community. And so it was transformed in July 2016 into this lab. So the university administrator invested a certain amount of funds to start our research program, to buy instrumentation, to upgrade the laboratory. And so October 2015 to July 2016, it's less than a year, and we were able to create a small lab to start our work. And the transformation of this is through in the laboratory of Gregor Mendel Research Laboratories, which was inaugurated in August 25, 2016. So we have the lab. What are we going to do in the lab if we do not have a research program? If we do not have a research funding? So take note of that. So we have nothing. So the next thing is to build the research program. So it was only in November 2015 when the Office of Research and Global Relations was created through the visionary and forward-looking leaders, Father Comendador, who is the president, and Dr. Junel P. Saludes, who is the associate vice president. And they were able to look at, sabi nga PAGTANAW, but we've been doing foresight ahead of us since 2015. What should we do in the next 5 years? After 5 years, what should we do in the next 5 years? And so the Office of Research and Global Relations have this initiative called Global Initiatives 2020 that started in February 2016 to October 2020. And this is the roadmap of USA in building a globally competitive research program. We are very ambitious because we are not just aiming for regional, but we're aiming for globally competitive research program. And the mantra is we have to build the airport in order that airplanes will land. And this is something that I would tell everyone. You cannot just ask for funding if you do not have a lab of your own. You have to show your funding agency that you have the lab in the first place, you have a research program in the first place, before they will invest their resources to you in order to solve some societal problems that will impact the society. So build the airport and the airplanes will land. The goal of this, we have description. This is university-wide. Visiting professors with international reputation, because this is 2020. So the goal is there must be 20 international speakers, 20 national and international linkages, 20 new faculty members with PhD, 20 state-of-the-art research equipment, 20 peer-review articles published, student and faculty national international awards, 20 externally funded grants, and 20 million student research fund. At first, many was really saying that the Office of Research and Global Relations are just too ambitious to have this numeric goal. But the point is, it's better to have a goal than nothing. And so this is our roadmap that helped us build the University of San Agustin into a globally competitive research program. And from here, this is where I conceptualized through the GI 2020. This is where I conceptualized the microbiology research program, and I make sure that the microbiology research program must be aligned with the flagship program of the university, which is pharmacy. Also, it has to be aligned with the funding agency's mission. That's why creating a research program, it's not just because you have a great idea. It has to be aligned of where you are. It must be aligned of what the government is looking for, and it must be aligned to what the society needs. And so this is where we started with our microbiology research program. As what Dr. Teves mentioned before, I am a pharmacist by profession, and my role is to look for new drugs, new medicines, and my inspiration is to use the Philippine natural resources, particularly the microorganisms thriving in the marine environments, as a source of drugs. So now that I have the research program created, now I have to find funding. I am new to the Philippines. I am new to the university. There was no funding mechanism before. And so what happened is, it's okay to start small. So the first funding that I got, what came from the university. This is what we call as the intramural funding. I was given 150,000 pesos to work on a project entitled Microbial Biodiversity in Marine Sediments from Iloilo as bioresource of novel antimicrobial lipids. So this is a 1-year project. It has a very small grant, which we call as a seed grant, just to start. As I was saying, it's okay to start small. What's important is that you have to test the waters. Is your idea, can you implement your idea? Is your idea tangible in order to arrive to the goals that you have? So with the 150,000 pesos, I thought at first that 150,000 is like 3,000 US dollars. What can you buy in 3,000 US dollars or 150,000 pesos? So with that, you know, as I was saying, let's start small. Don't think about big. We have nothing in the first place. So start with small. And so what we did was we looked at one area here in Iloilo, and we went to a small island. So this is the first time that we established the University of San Agustin Marine Sediment Derived Microbial Natural Products Research in 2015 with only 150,000 pesos as a seed grant. So this is University of San Agustin, is a landlocked university in the city of Iloilo. So we went to the Gigantes Island expedition. This was 2016, March 5 to 8 in 2016. So here in Gigantes Island, so this is where our first expedition was implemented. We were in a bangka. No, this is our research vessel. You see, we are not big. We're small. So we have a small research team, just what we can do. So everything is so crude. We have here the tubes for sampling, and where we have partnered with local divers, and we look for site in the Gigantes Island, and we have a humble beginning here. The way I say is humble beginning is that our sampling system or mechanism is by what we call as hand trowel technique. Pinapala lang po namin yung seafloor noon. No? So using a hand trowel, we dug 1 foot of the sediment, and we pushed the tube to collect for the sediment, and that can potentially contain these microorganisms. So very humbling experience talaga yon, because we have nothing. I said, okay, let's just do what we can do. So we have now the tubes containing the sediments. That's the most important thing. We're getting the sample from the niche, ecological niche. And so we brought the sample in our research vessel. Now, so we have our partner divers here, and what we have are the tubes in that basket, and then we have our lab in that small banca. No, so we have these pristine tubes that contain all these sediments, and we have our different types of sediments that we were able to look into that. So this is our banca research vessel. This is really very moving for me, because this is where we start. We start really small, and what we have found is our idea was really working, because from this we were able to find microorganisms which I thought will not exist here in the Philippines. And so we went back to the Gregor Mendel Research Laboratories to do our work, and we were able to identify and isolate these microorganisms from Gigantes Islands, and we come up with 18. 1/8 lang po ng library ng marine actinobacteria, and we were able to show that these have antimicrobial activity, and that was really, really exciting for us. So we extract the microbial extracts, and we have shown that there is this activity that you can see, and that is something that we have shown that yes, our idea is working. Then we can use this what we have. So to start, we have only 18 of marine sediment-derived actinomycetes from that our small group. So note that successful small project leads to big funding opportunities. Always remember that. But, however, what you need is a grantsmanship skills. When I say grantsmanship skills, you need to write down your idea into a persuasive piece of paper or proposal that funding agency will fund your idea. Grantsmanship skills or proposal writing skills is not an overnight skill that you can have. It takes a lot of experience, a lot of skills. And back when we were at before, when we started our faculty position at the Washington State University, we are mentored by a senior professor in our grantsmanship skills until we get our own first grant. And that is very transformative to us as a scientist. And that is what we've been doing here. We mentor promising faculty members to write proposals, one-on-one training to have grants proposal submitted and in order for it to be funded. Another thing, big funding opportunities means you have original and innovative idea. It's not just a copycat. It must be original. It must be innovative. And Third, you need to have a preliminary data. That's why small project matters. Huwag po nating liliitin na konti lang yung pera ng binigay sa inyo. No, because that will empower you to create a preliminary data in order to write big grants for big funding opportunities. Also, you need to have a team of experts, so collaborators and a team of experts. And also you need to have a university counterpart, which I have mentioned before. University counterpart, you have to show that you have a laboratory, you have to show that you have instruments, because, you know, this is just taking in what you can get from a funding agency. This is a give and take. The university where you are at can also give funding in the proposal, in your idea. So there need to have a university counterpart. And with all of these 5 key elements, I'm sure you can get a big funding opportunities. So moving on from the small grant to big grants. So really humbling experience. We started with nothing, and then we start with a seed grant of 150,000 pesos. The seed grant bear fruits to big grants. So one big grant was from the National Research Council of the Philippines, looking at actinobacteria, not just on one site of the Philippines, but all over the Philippines. Imagine that. Second big grant was from the DOST PCHRD Tuklas Lunas program, because the library that we have here serves as the resource for antimicrobial and anti-cancer drugs for drugs from natural resources that is advocated by Tuklas Lunas program. So this is where I would like everyone to look into. Start small, and from small, dream for big, because big grants comes from small grant. And then look at this. 2016 siya natapos yung seed grant. When the seed grant was almost done, we started to write proposals, so that only 2 months yung aming gap dito, and then we have the proposal approved. This one, 3 months yung gap, because this was January of 2017. So we were able to write. That's why I said, if you have the guts to try and keep going, you really can do big possibilities happen. So the second thing, yes, we have these big grants. So nakita nyo kanina yung Gregor Mendel Laboratory, maliit yun. How can we do 2 big grants in one small laboratory? So the university administrators saw that we were able to get big grants. And within that phase, sabi ng university president namin, Father Commendador, since you have now big grants coming, then we need new labs. That's why sabi kanina, we build an airplane so that we need to build airports so that big planes can come in. So yun, gumawa kami ng airport, maliit yung na airport na Gregor Mendel, pumunta yung malalaking airplanes, malalaking big grants, hindi kaya, that's why we expanded. So this is where we prepare the infrastructure for the 2 big grants, and it is where 2 centers was created. The Center for Chemical Biology and Biotechnology, where I am the founding director, and the Center for Natural Drug Discovery and Development, where Dr. Saludes, my collaborator, is the founding director. So these 2 laboratories now will host the NRCP big grant and the PCHRD big grant. So this was in August 2017, before. And after July less than a year, we were able to come up with the laboratory, the C2B2 and CND3, which was inaugurated by DOS's Secretary Fortunato de la Peña last July 13, 2018. So what we have in these two centers is a fully integrated laboratories. That's why I was telling, looking forward, microbiology will not just be a field of its own to answer societal problems. It must collaborate and it must cross other disciplines in order to have a tangible product, tangible innovation, tangible technology in order to come up with something that has an impact in the society. In our case, since we are looking for drug discovery, so there is a cross-disciplinary interaction between microbiology, chemistry, molecular biology, and other facets of life sciences. That's why even though how good you are as a microbiologist, and if you are not talking, collaborating with other life sciences or physical sciences experts, your idea will stay in your head. It will not be implemented. You need people to implement your idea. That's why the rule of the game now in science enterprise is together. It is not one man show. It is together with other researchers or other experts. So our lab is a fully integrated lab. We have a microbiology lab, molecular lab, chemistry lab, cell culture lab. We have a liquid chromatography, mass spectrometry. This is in the second phase. And the third phase of laboratory expansion was the multi-imaging mass spectrometry and the nuclear magnetic resonance for the C2B2 and CND3 laboratories. So this is where the NRCP came in, from small beginning to big grants. So take note, we started dito po sa Islas Gigantes, no, yung small grant namin. And now with the NRCP project, we went big all over the Philippines. And I'm going to show you one thing that we have here. So remember kanina, we were in a bangka, no? So I'm going to show you our expedition into Bataha from that small bangka, small beginning. So we have a yacht as our laboratory. Imagine, from that hand trowel technique na pinapala na namin with the big grant, we were able to innovate on how to collect our sample using core sampler. So this is where I would like everyone to see that small grants are very important for big grants in order for you to innovate. So humble beginnings talaga yung ginagawa namin dito. And when I was making this, this slide, parang naiyak ako dahil walang-wala talaga kami. And now we are creating this ripple effect of research empowerment dito sa countryside. So this is what we've been doing in our NRCP project. So imagine from our small grant, 18 lang po, 18 lang yung aming library noon. Ngayon, with the NRCP project, we have more than 3,000 pure isolates. So what does this mean? Meaning, bigger library, bigger chance of finding something new, bigger chance of looking for other commodities from marine microbes, not just drugs. We can also get some colorants, for example, pigments here that can be used for coloring cosmetics. We can get some fertilizers or plant enhancers fertilizers from this. So marami po siyang possibilities. That's why possibilities happen because we have the guts to take the challenge and just keep going. So this library of microorganisms, as what Dr. Teves was saying, we are a pioneering group of researchers here that has a biobank for drug discovery. We have antibiotics, anti-cancer, anti-dengue, anti-tuberculosis, anti-malaria. The antibiotics and anti-cancer, we are doing it right now. And just recently, we have a grant that will look for SARS-CoV-2 inhibitors. We have started our work on this. And this is really exciting part. We're looking and targeting a particular part of a protein, conserved protein in SARS-CoV-2 that we could help to find inhibitors on that aspect. For anti-dengue, anti-tuberculosis, and anti-malaria, we do not have our in-house capacity or an assay here. That's why I'm looking for collaborators who could help us use this biobank to find other compounds that will be targeting dengue, virus, Microbacterium tuberculosis and Plasmodium that cause malaria. So the marine approaches, the mining approaches here, we use metabolomics, genomics, and in vitro bioassay. And what we have is our lead discovery from more than 2,000. We have 92 confirmatory screening that we are looking into, not only for our NRCP, but also in our Tuklas Lunas project. So for our Tuklas Lunas project, this is from small brand to big brand. So we are using this library. So we consider C2B2 as a fully integrated pharmaceutical company because everything is here. As what academician Padolino was saying before, microbiology is important as a source, or microbes as a source of drugs, because diseases comes in and out. New diseases surface, and there are some diseases that does just come without our expectations, just like SARS-CoV-2. That's why here in C2B2 and CND3, this is a fully integrated pharmaceutical company wherein we use microbiology as our source of drugs. We have chemistry to look at the molecules that they produce. We screen for anti-cancer and antibacterial. We do a state-of-the-art approaches, not the traditional using metabolomics and analytics and biomarker discovery. Also, one of the mantra of our lab is fail now and fail later. Kasi po kami, hindi kami natatakot na mag-fail. Fail, we always embrace failure. That's why we become better and better, because failure helps us to be with our experiments to make it better. So yung mantra namin dito, fail now than fail later. Meaning, hindi po namin ipupursue yung isang drug or isang molecule once we know that it is toxic. That's why as early as now, we have our preclinical testing in our lab. We have toxicity testing against liver, kidney, and heart cells to see if they are toxic. We also have target validation and mechanism of action, and also finding the distribution of this drug on the surface of the liver and the heart or kidney tissue once this drug is taken by an animal in a preclinical testing. So for this flow, you will see that again, microbiology covers other natural sciences in this process workflow. So I'm going to show you a video of what we are doing. So that's our Tuklas Lunas program. So wait. So right now we have 9 lead compounds with antibiotic and anti-cancer activity. Sorry, I cannot disclose that to you because of intellectual property matter, but I am very happy that we are now in our phase 2 of the Tuklas Lunas for drug development and licensing. Meaning at the end of the program, we were able to come up with a drug that is ready to be licensed. Whoever could buy that license, big pharma company, and that is really good because that uses the Philippine natural resources, and that is through the efforts and ideas of the Filipino scientists and funded by the Filipino government. And as I was saying, with this library of actinobacteria, we're looking for SARS-CoV-2 inhibitors and also looking at a new beta-lactamase inhibitors. This is also funded by NRCP. So again, wag po nating pagmaliliitin yung small grant because small grant will lead to big grants. So aside from us doing this C2B2 and CND3, I just wanted to share to you that the University of San Agustin is really looking forward, PAGTANAW 2050, that we are building and creating research centers at university to solve societal matters, not only on drug discovery, but also with our heritage and also indigenous identity. So 2 of these centers were established: Center for Heritage and Indigenous Cultures for the Preservation and Enrichment of Filipino Culture and Heritage and Indigenous Identity, the Center for Informatics, so the data research and application focusing on health, environment, and climate and governance, and also with the PAGTANAW 2050, the University of San Agustin, again, because the flagship program for education is health, allied health professionals. And so for PAGTANAW 2050, we are putting our resources on the food, health, and nutrition on this aspect. And these 4 centers, the 4 centers work together on the health sector program of the Philippines. Informatics for Health, which is by the CFI. We have the heritage and indigenous culture, looking at the folkloric beliefs of the indigenous people and how they maintain their health. through the Center for Heritage and Indigenous Cultures. We have functional foods and marine biotechnology, C2B2 and CND3, peptides and diagnostics, and drug delivery, C2B2 and CND3. So you see that the university is not spreading its resources thinly. We are concentrating in one area where we are good at. And so we put all our resources there, our research center, to direct its resources to answer health programs, health issues of the society. So these 4 centers are now have key health research programs here at the University of San Agustin. So the third expansion, no? So sige-sige po ito. The University of San Agustin is not, hindi po humihinto when it comes to research infrastructure. And the research infrastructure was created during the height of the pandemic. So yun nga, maraming they commented, meron bang pandemic sa University of San Agustin? Parang wala. How come you were able to come up with this infrastructure, research programs, publications, and patent at the height of the pandemic? It's because, again, we have a very nurturing environment here with the support of the USA administrators. So this is the MALDI Mass Spectrometry Lab, May 2020. This was the NMR laboratory in August 2021. And what we have now, last Tuesday, we have the inauguration of the 2 labs by the DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña, the MALDI Mass Imaging Mass Spectrometry, and the NMR laboratory as shown here. So in a matter of a year, or less than a year, we were able to purchase all this state-of-the-art equipment and created an infrastructure that will house this equipment that are important and critical in drug discovery program. That's why sabi ko kanina, the reason why we are fully integrated pharmaceutical company is because everything that we need is already here. So the phase 4, this is the 5th research center. This is not on the health side, but this was created last March 2022, approved by the board of the directors. We call this as a CONMET, an Advanced New Materials Engineering and Emerging Technologies, and they're looking for materials for consumer, for production and by consumers. So synthetic polymers, sensors, actuators, and things like that. So in the last 5 years, the university created 5 research centers. C2B2, CND3 in 2017, SCHIC in 2018, 2019 is CFI, 2022 is CANMET. And note, 4 of these research centers, the directors are Balik scientists. C2B2, yours truly, CND3, Dr. Janelle Saludes, CFI, Dr. Romulo Di Castro, and the CANMET is Dr. Noel Peter Tan. So in 2015, when we started, there was no publication. But since 2020, in the last 2 years, we were able to publish 14 publications, and it's still counting. And we published publications in Q1, Q2 journals, either in microbiology, chemistry, in drug discovery, biochemistry, and all of these aspects of publications. So patents, since 2020, we have 5 Philippine patents applied in the Philippines, 3 international patents, 6 registered utility models. So we have inventions for our microbiology program. So that's why if you want to talk to me how you can submit your inventions using microbes, we can do that. No? We have inventions. We have now utility models using the microbiology that we have. We have exclusive rights for 7 years until March 9, 2028. And since we have a collaboration with an industry, we have already also an invention applied here in the Philippines, but also we have 3 inventions applied in Japan, also in Singapore and United Arab Emirates. And we have these 4 utility models with exclusive rights until December 9, 2027. So since 2020, we have 6 CIP scholars. We have 9 MS students graduated, supported by the grants and by the university. We have 8 ongoing MS students and 32 Bachelors of Science students. For prestige, we say prestige, these are usually awards and recognition given to C2B2C and D3 research personnel. We won 9 international awards for paper presentation, 6 national awards, and 5 regional awards. So, as I was saying, in 2015, there was only one institutional partner, and that is SIFDEC in Tigbawan. And now we have 21 partners all over the world, in Taiwan, Indonesia, US, and most of these partnerships have already fruits, no? Fruits of engagement. We have, for example, University of Tokyo, we have a paper just came out a week ago on our collaboration with the University Malaysia Terengganu. We have also a paper that came out last week on marine natural products. With the University Kebangsaan Malaysia, we have a proposal right now that we are creating for funding in Malaysia, and also with the Universitas Indonesia. Louisiana State University, we have 2 papers that was out because of this collaboration. And Academia Sinica, the patent was due for our pineapple project was due with our partnership with Academia Sinica. So industry partners, ito po yung kulang dito sa Philippines. When we came in, walang collaboration with industry. And I want to tell everyone, microbiologists and any researchers out there, you have to have partners with industry, because the industry is another platform where you can transform your great ideas into technologies and products. So we have 25 industry partners right now, that strong partnerships, international and also regional on that aspect. Externally research grants, there was nothing in 2016, but from February 2016 to October 2020, we have 15. That's why sabi ko, you can start with nothing. You can start with nothing and then baby steps po, and then you will be surprised as long as you have the guts to take the challenge. So with public service, I am very proud that the C2B2 and CND3 was the home of the training ground for medical technologists and medical doctors for training for SARS-CoV-2 testing labs here in Region 6. Right after the lockdown, March 16, Mayor Treñas called for stakeholders, including us, for brainstorming on how we could help the community create our COVID-19 testing. And C2B2 was the home for this training for medtechs and medical doctors on these different types of hospitals. This is a rare feat here in the region, in the countryside, that really help everyone to come up with our testing labs. And I am very proud that we have about 6 testing labs here in Iloilo City and also in Bacolod City. So I am now in the last few slides of my talk. So how did we implement it? So how to make the right moves in scientific enterprise? So first, you have to understand the university structure. Kailangan po niyo yan pag-aralan. Second, you need to demonstrate leadership in science because no one will listen to you if you do not show leadership. Your administrators will not listen to you if you do not demonstrate leadership in your science or in the field of microbiology for that aspect. You need to staff your laboratory with a growth mindset individuals. And I'm telling you, nahirapan po kami maghanap ng competent individuals dito sa probinsya because underdeveloped po sila. Unlike Manila, maraming magagaling dyan, but I'm telling you, kahit underdeveloped yung aming mga research assistants dito, they have a growth mindset. meaning they allow themselves to grow, they allow themselves to learn. That's why I am very proud of each and every one of them who works in the lab, because they are now competent. Next, you need to mentor, and you yourself needs to be mentored. Until now, I seek mentoring. I don't consider myself an expert. I seek mentoring. That's why I still have my mentors in the US, mentors in Australia, and even my collaborator, Dr. Saludes. I ask his mentorship, and he also asked my mentorship. That's why we become better individuals and better scientists each day, because we mentor and we are being mentored. Another one is time management. That's very important. Another one, which is, I think, is missing here in the Philippines, is project management. Marami pong nafi-fail na mga projects because they do not know how to manage their project. I can teach you this, but that would eat another day or so on that aspect. Another one is data management, which is very, very important. Also getting funded. That's why grantsmanship skills is very important. Getting published and being visible in the community, in the scientific community, is very important. You have to understand technology transfer. You have to establish collaborations, and you have to teach others to teach. And I think these are the key points that will make you have the right moves to scientific enterprise. So I'm not wala po time to talk each of this, but I would be very happy if I will be invited in the future to look into each of this, so that yung scientific enterprise, especially in the microbiology consortium, will blossom. No, may consortium tayo, we need to really blossom into a direction of PAGTANAW 2050. So again, you need an enabling scientific enterprise. I call this as a tripartite collaboration. Wala po kaming magagawa as a scientist. Kahit balik scientist po kami, kahit ano kagaling namin, if we do not have the support of the university, if we do not have the support of the funding agency, wala pong mangyayaring scientific enterprise. The same thing with funding agency. If they cannot see a university that they can support, and yung university na yan kulang sa scientists, hindi yan sila mag-support. The same also with the university. They will not invest if they do not have the scientists and they do not see a funding agency that will support their vision. Also, you need industry partners. So dito po very important din po ito on that aspect. They are very, very important to translate our ideas into innovations and technologies. So in summary, as microbiologists, we really have to answer societal problems, whether it will be drug discovery, agriculture, industry. Marami pong aspect ng microbiology when we can have our impact. Ask yourself, look into that. Ano yung makakontribute mo dyan? And as a researcher, yung particular interest natin dito, publication, citation, people, prestige. But take note that if we have partnership with funding agency, partnership with industry, partnership with other stakeholders, what we will be producing are policies. We will produce products, we will produce patents. And this is a particular interest of stakeholders. And this part here will serve have a societal and economic outcomes and impact. So kung ito lang na academic ka, wala ka, dyan ka lang. You will not have an impact or outcome in the society if you cannot have this. That's why you need partnership. Kaya nga sabi ko, the rule of the game now is together, not an individual, but together. So you invest on your time on networking and also making sure that you are visible in the community. Also, our model here in University of San Agustin is our service to God's people for the common good, guided by virtue and science. Saint Augustine, we've been praying for him ever since, to guide us with our research, and also Father Gregor Mendel, Augustinian, who is the father of modern genetics. This guides us in our quest on our science here to serve the God through the people for the common good. So I have here for acknowledgement our funding agencies: C2B2, CND3, Balik Scientists, University of San Agustin, National Research Council of the Philippines, Philippine Council for Health Research Development, Tuklasanas Development Program, the Department of Science and Technology, and please follow us in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to join us, email us to C2B2 and CND3 at this email. So before I will end, I'm going to show you a small 2-minute video to show you what we have here. So just give me a say. All right, okay, go. So maraming salamat po, and thank you for your time and attention. Maraming salamat.